Jackie, did you want to make a? I don't want to. Sounds
I
like
did,
you have
but
something to say, man.
I've got something to say, but I don't know if I want to save it. I'm just right now. My entire brain is so dedicated to this opening game because I feel like the storyline behind it's so fun, right? Just in the sense where Tox deserves this limelight. This is his big moment, and from what I've heard, obviously speaking to Avik as well, that there's been a lot of time put in by Tox now, where he's been getting back into it, looking for Prak as much as possible, and trying to sink hours back into the game. So there's a chance we get like a really beautiful Cinderella story where he then goes on to fight Rafa immediately, right? So the duality of today could be just ridiculous.
Well, let's jump into this matchup. Talk about our two players. You mentioned them already. GaRpY coming from the challengers side, and Toxic kind of struggling through this particular stage, but certainly he is a champion, in Quake's history. And GaRpY, if I'm not mistaken, we've got to see him last time during the Quake World Championships, trying to make it into the QPL through the challengers. And of course, Tox has been battling out. But what do you like? Talk to me about GaRpY and what you think about his play potential here.
I think if there's anyone that deserves to be in the QPL, it's probably GaRpY. But he's also had it in his grasp and thrown it away himself. So he's only got himself to blame for not being there just yet. He's obviously got huge pedigree behind him, but still struggles slightly with the mental game. And he's just somebody that can lose in the first round or go all the way to the final if he really finds his groove. He's got that much potential behind him. And I'm really excited to see. I think Tox is a good test for GaRpY. He struggles against players with heavy aim, but he also thrives in players that make mistakes. And Tox has, unfortunately, abundance of both of those qualities.
Yeah. Let's take a look at GaRpY's actually results throughout the Challengers series. KLYB, Pastia, 2x2TV Undead, and then, Sirius, where he did beat Sirius in winter bracket round 4, but not a terrible showing, and as you mentioned, going up against Tox. Jackie, what do you think here? And then take us into what you think about Tox right now.
It's interesting because I think GaRpY, as Dan said, he does definitely deserve a spot in the QPL. I think we had him in for the first season, right? He unfortunately fell out when we were going into Poland, and then we just haven't seen him back since. He's been fighting hard constantly in the challenges, because I know you've covered a few of them as well, Dan, and probably had a better grasp on how well he actually performed in those matches when you're doing it with Wenger. But he does put the time in. And it's also, if he gets back in at this point, lads, we're looking at 4 Maestro players in the QPL if they all qualify.
Yeah, that's really impressive. And then Toxic, right? A Quake legend from Quake 3 to Quake Live to Quake 4. I mean, someone who has been around and has cemented his own name and legacy into Quake as a series. But here in the QPL, especially in stage 1 of season 2, he has undoubtedly struggled. We've seen those moments of brilliance that shine, that is like, yes, that is Toxic. Oh, that LG, that is Toxic. But it hasn't really strung together to give any sort of results. So this, as you mentioned, Jackie, is a huge game for Toxic.
Oh, it's huge. The weight behind this one means so much, because potentially the storyline you look at, obviously, is we could lose one of the finest players in terms of pedigree from the league. Like a living legend could not return if he doesn't want to put the time in to requalify again through challenges. And that's also if he can as well, because it's getting more and more competitive every time we have a challenges season. It's getting hard to qualify. There is a timeline where potentially this is the last official time we could have Tox in the Quake Pro League, which is crazy when you think about it.
And Dan, let's take a look at Toxic's results here for the 13 weeks that we've seen, and give us a comment based off of what you're seeing here.
A lot of zeros in the wins column. Not an awful lot to talk about. I mean, I think the results superficially don't show the context of the way he played, because a huge amount of these games he was in the lead and in control for large amounts and large periods, but not having the capability to see them out shows you where he's at in terms of the overall skill of the QPR. And it's unfortunate to say he does deserve to be where he's at, but it's also not an understatement to say that if he pulls it together, he can be far, far, far higher. Yeah. So it's unfortunate.
The results also don't necessarily indicate the closeness of some of the games that he did play. And you mentioned it early, Jackie, is that the mistakes a lot of times was what determined which way the chips would fall on that one. But let's move right into the map picks and the veto, because it sounds like the players are in the ring and ready to rock and roll. But let's take a look at what we've got here for picks and bans. And because this is a best of 5, and just a reminder, all the challenger games will be best of 5 here that we're going to see on day 1. But anything immediately that you see here, gentlemen?
Oh, I mean, just for me, the first 2 maps coming in have given me that tantalizing feeling, right? Awoken into Deep Embrace, back to back. He's got some speedy champs into the mix as well. This could actually be really fun.
Yeah, when you're moving into the best of 5 region, you're always going to get favored picks more or less. And yeah, I think starting on those 2 maps means it favors the way Tox wants to play. He can afford to make more mistakes because they're high contestable, conflictual maps, and you can come back from those. So it's good to see Tox going off with Awoken, picking Anarchy as well, shows you where he's at, what he wants to do. He wants to play fast and aggressive, and that momentum could be key.
Yeah, I mean, the only comment I see here is that I do not see a world where Toxic wants to even make it to that 5th map.
No.
I completely agree with like the sort of the pace and the style that I think Toxic really wants to nail. Definitely there in the early part of this series, but you get near the end and I'm just saying, I'm like, oh, those look like GaRpY wins to me. So very, very interesting, because it is a best of 5. Stamina's on the line. Both these players have been in this type of situation before, but for GaRpY, making it through the challenger, not a whole lot to lose here, either in or allow Toxic to continue to move forward. And if he's put in the time, maybe we're going to see this right now. But gentlemen, I think we're going to kick this game off, so I'm just going to step to the side. And I know it's crazy, but I'm going to leave it up to you. Jackie and ZSX, take it away.
Oh, it's a nightmare, Dan. We never like being left alone. It feels a bit awkward without, that father figure of Wheat being here guiding over us. But we'll see it through. We'll make it work, because what a series we've been given. Oh, no, he's still there.
Oh, no. I feel a bit vulnerable now. Just don't know where he's going to come from. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, man. We're going to kick it off with a banger. GaRpY, such pedigree. Could be the last we see of Tox as well. As you said right at the very off, like, this match has so much behind it for both of these players. Once again, it's heartbreak if GaRpY doesn't make it 3rd time of trying, and who knows, it could be the last we ever see of Tox if he doesn't make it either. So it's an emotional match either way it goes, and I'm excited to see how it turns out.
No, I think it's sick. Like, especially in terms of me and you being back in the booth together as well for like a first game.
That's actually got more emotion behind it, I think, man.
It's like a little bit of a love story. It's a will they, won't they? And by the end of the tournament, Dan, maybe we'll find out. Depends if we get back into the groove of casting together quickly.
Yeah, it'll be a bit more ruffled if that happens. But let's jump into the game, Sideshow Bob, and let's see what happens. What's your prediction for today?
You know what? I think Tox takes it. I think Tox turns up. Like, he's been looking good. He's been practicing harder and harder recently. He's been putting the time back into the game. And I think it's also just the emotional side of it as well, right? For both of these players, as well as a lot of these things we're saying could be mirrored to GaRpY, you got to look at it for Tox. He needs to win tonight. That is just the top and bottom of it. So I think he's going to come out and give it his all. I respect your anecdotal opinion, but I'm probably going to side with GaRpY on this one. I think it might go the distance, but I'm going to gut feeling say 3-1 to GaRpY. 3-1 to GaRpY.
Yeah,
that's quite.
That's a risky call, putting money on GaRpY. Yeah. I know, but I'm feeling it today.
All right, I mean that's quite a full-on scoreline you've given me there, Dan. But we'll see. Maybe you're right. Normally you are right. In this case, we'll see if you will be. We're into it. First game of the tournament, Dan. GaRpY versus Tox, and it's on Awoken.
Yeah, I mean, these are 2 players you can never call either way, right? Because they can give you everything. And it's always heartbreak, I'd tell. But we are starting on GaRpY's POV, playing the Doomslayer. Obviously a great pick on this map. Anarchy's a little bit more unusual, but does favour the way Tox likes to play. Still a strong champion, but the Doom's maneuverability will always give you that little bit of an edge. GaRpY missing the opening exchange here. Nice little rail coming out. Tox is a bit stuck in this zone over here. Anyway, rocket to work with. GaRpY's back-to-back rails. But Tox isn't that low, because he did pop the inject, picked up that heavy, and now he is low. However, he's very much trapped. Going to have to go down. Doesn't do any damage, and that's an easy frag to kick off this encounter.
Okay. Nice way to open it up for GaRpY. Great start. 1 frag in the first minute. Looks for a second as well. 50 tag coming out from the rocket. Does miss the rail, but he has mid control here. Has a lot of time to work with as well, of course, finding that opening frag very early on into this. Good read, but doesn't quite land the follow-up rocket down.
That was good. It's pretty cagey from Tox as an starting encounter. GaRpY looking very comfortable. And we can see here, just using the Doom to really control that mid ground, and it's such a powerful position to be in. He's got a huge split on the major items now, so Tox is in a little bit of trouble. Has the inject to work with and deciding not to pop it. Will save it in case there is a unfortunate encounter that GaRpY does take upon him. Making the move here, Tox a little bit trapped. Great lightning gun coming out. The rocket's not good for GaRpY, and he's got to back away. The heavy's up at Tox. That worked out really well. The aggressive rocket jump up as well. Nice route from GaRpY, but how does he survive that one?
Mate, hanging on by the skin of his teeth there. Just cowering, staying alive. And actually building him and stack back up as well. So there's potential. He could turn this into a frag. Oh no, the double rocket straight to the lips. Tox is down again. The fact he's converted that into a kill, and potentially a third as well, is actually a bit eyebrow raising.
Mate, that's just symptomatic of Tox's season. Like, all the good work undone by a bad decision.
Definitely not ideal, Daniel. Oh, that's even worse as well. Straight up the bounce pad, the shotgun being pulled out. Ready with the rails as well. GaRpY looking on the ball at the minute. That follow-up round not going to be as sublime, but still, it's 3 frags down in 2 minutes and 30.
Yeah, it's early into the game, but this was my little bit of fear, is that where GaRpY does find himself and feels confident, he's really frustrated to play against, because he plays quite unorthodox. He takes up very strong positions, but makes these quite unusual pushes. Difficult to explain, and I just feel that it would be catching Tox off guard, because Tox is a little bit careless in his approach play. You can see once again a needless push for the rail ends in a death just before the mega. So it's perfect timing for GaRpY to make that move, and Tox is really not looking that strong at the moment, trying to force once again, and he needs to respect GaRpY's aim.
Mate, yeah, both of these players have been practicing hard on the build up to this. Obviously, it's been a hell of a slog for GaRpY through challenges as well. He was dismantling every opponent he went up against. So he's come into this looking pretty fresh, specifically in this map as well, doing a lot of damage early. Tox attempting to fight back, getting a bit audacious with some of the plays he's going for, but it hasn't helped him too much. This could be nice from GaRpY, but doesn't actually fully commit onto it. Backed off and, of course, concedes the mega. So for the first time, Tox is actually looking healthy down.
Yeah, GaRpY messing up his jumps there, so Tox does get a very much needed major item. It is the mega, so the inject isn't that useful just yet, but again, he can commit heavily for this heavy armor if he needs to. But GaRpY decides to back off before it spawns, instead favouring to reposition up high. Doesn't want to overcommit for it, and has somehow worked his way back into position.
Ooh. If he hit that rail, that would have got me quite excited. But he can afford to play this quite calm. Boops in the air, though, as Tox will detonate a rocket right under his feet. Nearly sends him flying out into the swamp as well, leaving him in a watery grave. But GaRpY recovers, gets the item. Now peeking over the ledge with the rail, looks to do a bit of damage. Good fadeaway tri-bolt as well. Sees the fight, drops back, gets himself a light armor, and is still somehow dodging these rails. Slightly thrusted into the air. And at this point, he does need to waste a bit of time. Heavy's just come up as well. If they fight over this, Tox should be able to win out on the encounter.
Yeah, Tox has done a nice rail there to the head. Just about to say, Tox has done a much better job of stabilizing since the first 4 frags. Taking it much slower, actually playing methodically, chipping away at GaRpY before making his move. And exactly, here we go indeed, Jackie.
Now we got a game on our hands. This is where it starts. Tox back in the driving seat, kicking it off. 2 frags just like that. 2 frags to bring the scoreline up to a stalemate of 4 kills apiece. We've got 5 minutes left to go on this bout as well. So much time for it to get gory. Tox is just waiting out. Has a read that GaRpY's probably stationed himself back up towards middle as well.
Yeah, the question is, how do you penetrate that position? Because it's such a defensively minded place to be, and Tox is a little bit vulnerable, being a lighter champion. Now he has got full lockdown on the map. He just needs to control that and use the speed to try and work GaRpY off the map. GaRpY's doing a good job so far of not overcommitting and not getting caught out. All these 5.5 minutes gone there. The map's ticking away pretty fast, but again, it is only 2 frags on Awoken. That is literally nothing.
It's so achievable. One small misplay. slight incorrect item timing, you leave yourself susceptible for him to just kick the door in and come in like a thief, Dan, and steal 2 more kills.
And I am a little bit worried for GaRpY at the moment. For my mind, he's being too passive. I mean, obviously, ultimate respect for the combat capabilities of Tox, but at the same time, you can't let him run the map. He's out of position here, though, and GaRpY will be able to jump in and steal away this heavy, but instead, he does back off. Nice rail. Playing very, very safe. You can see that he'd had a rough idea of when the heavy was up, but just didn't want to take any risk whatsoever.
Tox, turning the corner. Nice little rocket.
Oh, he
actually
missed the mecha as well. That could come back to haunt him as he's giving away another free item to Tox. He is out maneuvering Tox, but it does feel a matter of time until Tox gets that engagement he does want. Time pressure isn't on just yet, so he can work the map.
Here we go. The aggression coming back in. Tox obviously with a massive stack advantage to work with. Heavy's just come in, and he's forced GaRpY back. If he can time this right, there's a potential timeline where he gets both of these major items in one rotation. He gets an awful lot of damage off. Doubles back, gets himself the heavy. He's looking quite full. Good use of the inject as well, straight over. Rapid response in the timing, but now he's got to think about when he wants to take that engagement. This is the best stack he's had. He's got full arsenal as well when it comes to ammunition, but the rocket takes all of that away and takes the steam out from underneath him.
But we're also seeing the power of Doom in that Tox is running the map well, but he's running in circles, and GaRpY's just basically jumping from one side of the map to the other through the mid-ground, and Tox hasn't got the speed, or at the moment, the traps to catch GaRpY out of position. As you said though, one mistake from the Brit will be all it takes for Tox to get back into this game. There's big tri-bolts, that's a big opening for Tox. Obviously the tempo pick up now. Nice rail through the telly. Just needs one more, can he catch him?
The big brain plays, throwing it down, beautiful tempo, lovely execution, pulls the trigger and ends the life of GaRpY. One frag, difference now, straight back in with the rail. Oh no, he's been punched straight out of there. His lips have been detonated like a watermelon down from the fist of GaRpY.
Oh man, that's what, like 6 minutes of work undone by a fist to the face, and now he's jumping in. Will he die? If he does, it could be game over. He's giving away a free frag. He did no damage in the process, Jackie. Oh, this is not looking good.
He was waiting for so long, 4 minutes of acting like a Swedish trapdoor spider until GaRpY walked over him to spring upon him, Dan. And instead, he just gets punched in the face. The newspaper was pulled out, and Tox is the headline. Smooshed. 3 frags down, with about 1 minute and 30 to go. It would have to be a ridiculous comeback, and it needs to start now.
What? He's not... Why is he not going for the mega? Oh my god, both these players don't want to win this game.
Oh, mate, 1 minute to go, 60 seconds on the clock. Tox. I mean, if technically getting himself back in the game could be doable here, especially if there's opportunities being presented. He just needs to start popping off. He was taking such a slow approach to Awoken. Now you have to flip the switch and go back to Sweetie Tox that we know he can do quite well. The LG tags are pretty clean. He doesn't actually convert that into a fully fledged frag just yet.
Big 40 seconds for Tox here, make or break. He needs a frag in the next 10 or 15 seconds. He can definitely get the comeback, but he needs to find GaRpY. GaRpY just take up his aggressive positions. He missed the rail. He's just going to run the tellies now. Can Tox catch him? Going to need a couple of rocket jumps coming out. Nice play from Tox. The rocket.
Here we go.
30 seconds. He's still in this.
It's still doable. All he needs to do is find this frag, but he's got to get it now. Has no time to waste. Catches him coming out of the teleporter, but so much damage done. Tox realizing he'll buckle if he continues to push his agenda. Rotates his way back round Banana. 10 seconds in counting. Needs to find a peak soon, and at this point, Dan, it feels like the story's over.
Yeah, he's got the items, he's got the position. There's nothing Tox can do. Oh my god. If that was 10 minutes of Tox's 13-week season in a nutshell, it couldn't be done any better. Absolute brilliance to absolute madness in 1 second.
Dude, it was so much work as well. Like, he was playing it really smart. It was the tactical slow style. It countered GaRpY's classic play style as well. And then in the space of a second, the tight rail engagement turns into him just having his face knocked off by a fist.
I don't even know how that happened. Like, he just walked around a corner into 2 shotgun barrels, followed up by a smack to the face. It was... He clearly didn't expect it, and it's just Tox is a diamond in the rough that's incredibly rough around the edges. So much hard work went into finding that, killing GaRpY and playing relatively spotless. I mean, with all due respect to GaRpY, he could have played the map a little bit more active, I felt, but he did what he needed to do to keep Tox at bay and just outpositioned him consistently. And then it was just a couple of moments of, I guess, sloppiness from Tox, really, and it was all gone. I think he threw away the map from the very start, just too aggressive, almost a lack of respect for GaRpY, and before we knew it, he was 4 frags down and it was an uphill battle.
It was quite a scary turn of events. Oh, we had the GaRpY face cam as well.
It's rapid pop.
It did feel like it was just going to be the GaRpY show as well, right? We had like 6 minutes of just pure GaRpY until Tox finally rocked up. Ooh, we get it from his POV as well. That's rough. That is rough.
Some emotion from Tox as well. That's pretty rare. Again, it's just so heartbreaking because it's like within his grasp, and it's suddenly gone. But due respect to GaRpY, that was Tox's map pick. It was, I mean, you would expect Tox to be as close and as good as he was, and so GaRpY 1-0 up, has a lot of momentum going into the series now.
Obviously, Tox, he was starting to get into his groove at one point as well. We saw him working really good. He got both of the major items in one rotation. The speed was there. It was everything he needed to crack open the game. And just a well-timed predictive rocket from GaRpY took all of that steam out from underneath him.
Yeah, if I had to summarize that map into a couple of words, it'd be lack of strategy from Tox. I felt that he just wanted to fight. First 4 frags, he was pretty careless and was just trying to push GaRpY in situations he really shouldn't have. And then once he had control, which he did a good job to get hold of, he just ran the map. Didn't feel like he took his foot off the gas or sat back and tried to second guess what GaRpY was doing. Never really laid any traps. It wasn't until that last kind of desperation push, last minute or two, where we saw some creative rocket jumps come out, some different attack angles. That's where Tox was looking strong. For that kind of interim period of 4 or 5 minutes, it was just cycling items and GaRpY was backing off, repositioning, and doing enough damage to stall Tox's progression. So I would love to see more, I guess, deeper thought coming from Tox on how to play the map.
Well, potentially we'll see a little bit more of that. Obviously, Deep Embrace coming into the second map, Dan, very similar style. It got me excited because I thought this is where Tox was really going to be able to show his style of Quake that worked so well for him in the first 2 maps. But going in favor of your prediction, as you said, GaRpY comes out strong, steals away the first map. This now puts it into a bit more of an interesting position. I still think this could go either way. Again, I would favor Tox, but I think he really needs to turn it on because at this point, you're 1 map down at a best of 5. It really turns into a bit of a do or die type situation. You've got to get back into it as soon as possible. Just go blow for blow.
Yep. And he has Sorlag, if my notes are correct, which gives him much more versatility. He can go aggressive, he can make mistakes, he can play full frontal Tox if he so wants to, and this is a map to do it on as well. So if he gets the momentum, we've seen it time and time again, if he gets momentum, he gets an early lead, he can take this map away from GaRpY before GaRpY knows what's hit him, and that's definitely within his grasp. It's obviously GaRpY's pick, so he have a plan, but I think Sorlag is a great pick to try and push GaRpY and go aggressive.
Yeah, and already you've got to think of some of the champions that are taken out of the rest of the best of 5, right? Because Doom was thrown into the mix immediately. Doom, a great pick for both of these maps from what we've seen over the regular season. So it limits him a little bit there in terms of the later the series goes on. Absolutely.
And GaRpY does have a good pick in terms of Ranger, though. It offers a lot of versatility. True. That burst damage from the orb, the repositioning from the orb as well. So it's going to have to be pretty creative from GaRpY because Tox is going to want to fight, and it will be tough. But again, it is GaRpY's pick. He's picking Ranger, which is incredibly strong. So I'm expecting a close map here.
I think so. I think this should be a tight game. I assume that we'd have a really close game on the first map as well. So hopefully this gives us a little bit more to look at from either of our competitors. We are back into it. It's the second map in the best of 5 here. GaRpY, the challenger, going head-to-head against Tox. The stone wall to deny him entrance into the Quake Pro League. We're live in the flesh, Dan.
We are. We're on GaRpY's POV, both feeling each other out. Tox from above catches GaRpY off guard, but we see that big shotgun blast come out, and it will be the acid to finish off the Brit. First frag to Tox within 25 seconds.
Ooh, all right. Things are definitely looking quite hectic. Tox nearly dead because he got stuck on the wall. But he slips out of there, keeps himself alive. He can pick himself back up as well as he finds that heavy. He finds a lovely little adjustment with a railgun, denting GaRpY and sending him packing all the way back to Mega.
But he did get Mega Jack, and Tox is relegated to the far side of the map. Not a lot to work with. Slowly picking up health bubbles, so now he's got a good stack, but GaRpY equally on a fighting level. Just no rail, no lightning gun, so that's why we see him playing very slow, trying to work his way around the map to get across to this heavy, but doesn't get the rocket jump. like he wanted to. Will have to give it away, just trying to do as much damage as he can, but a nice push in from the orb, and Tox maybe stuck around a little bit too long here.
Ooh, okay. The rocket into rail combo would have been beautiful. He actually taps GaRpY on the back there as well. Oh man, the rails are looking on point. Out of rocket ammo, so he does back off to at least replenish that. Throws the mag back in the backpack and sends off a warning shot. Couple of predictive plays here to slow down GaRpY. 4 seconds until Heavy's up as well. So winning this engagement could do an awful lot for him if he can finally get an opening frag. Shotgun to the back, kills the dinosaur, and grabs himself the Heavy.
There's plays like that I just cannot understand. It feels almost like a pub play. He's standing in a position with no exit routes. He's got not a lot of health and armor. He doesn't want to contest for the item. He just wants to hit a shot or two, and GaRpY makes it pay. So those type of mistakes you just cannot afford to make in the QPL. But he is back in the game. A nice double rocket combo here. He's tied it up as well. He's a little bit over the Heavy, but GaRpY's not able to get across, so Tox is going to be able to take the item away. GaRpY wants to contest, but doesn't get enough damage in the first place.
Sorlag, the big girl herself, backing off once again through the murder hole. Good play with the rocket, bit of spit coming out to slow down GaRpY's aggression. Hitting him with all of the splash damage, but he just keeps on coming. He doesn't give a damn, Daniel, as he pulls out the shotgun. And again, brings it back to a 3-3 split. Deeper Embrace looking so close at the minute. And it's scary whenever GaRpY brings out the LG. He has been on point with a weapon. The Dire Orb to close the gap, and the shotgun to put Tox back into a pine box.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the use of the shotgun from GaRpY. As Tox comes in with his own shotgun. Clearly a strategical point against the Sorlag. He's used it a fair amount to effectiveness so far, but some nice aggression from Tox, but the rockets from GaRpY are on point.
It's looking sick. It's looking pretty tasty. Deep Embrace, definitely more along the lines of what I was thinking we were going to get from the first map. Some of the flicks from GaRpY. You can see that his wrists warmed up this morning. 3 minutes into the game, though, now. Tons of time to play with. And GaRpY does only have a 1 frag lead. So we're going to be seeing a lot more clashes between these two Titans. One of them coming up quite quickly. Closes the gap again. Back to the rocket. Point blank. Tox has been slain.
And GaRpY's just playing the map better at the moment. They're trading relatively evenly in terms of damage, but GaRpY's the one with the items, so he's the one that's always going to come out on top.
He's also just melting him like a hot knife through butter every time that LG comes out. Ooh, there we go. Spreading the damage a little bit, though. Both of them actually in close proximity when it comes to stack. 45 HP, and he misses the jump, Dan!
Yeah, Tox won't know that, though, so he won't be pushing. He's retreated to get his own weaponry since he's pretty weak himself. Hasn't got a rocket, only a lightning gun to work with, in fact. So if he gets caught out here, he could be in a little bit of trouble. Decides to back off, though, which is definitely the right choice. Wants to do some damage onto his Mega, but not really in position to. Nice heavy machine gun. He just needs to get some items, though. Needs to get anything. He's finally got himself a rail, but still lacking the rocket. GaRpY playing very slow.
Ooh. All right. Works quite nicely off the engagement from the trap, especially when he's got the elevated angle as well. Can spam down into the hitbox with the shotgun. Can't quite get that peak just yet. Playing a game of cat and mouse. But it's Ranger versus Sorlag. Will actually get hit in the face by the rail, and so much damage being established by Tox, but it's not enough to make him concede. Fully sends himself into the fight, and again frags him. At this point, that scoreline that was just 1 kill is now getting quite bloated, Dan. 7-4 at the 5-minute mark.
It is, but at the same time, the value of Sorlag is actually coming out here because Tox is working with nothing, but given the starting stack he has, he's able to contest and do a lot of damage in the process. If he swapped weapon, he would have got that kill, but instead gets a little bit greedy, maybe not realizing how low his opponent was, and GaRpY gets away for now. Still relatively low, but the Mega is up soon, and I don't think Tox has full timing on it, so he's sticking around. But GaRpY, once again, does get the item. Tox at the moment has 3 heavies, 0 megas to his name. GaRpY 7 heavies, 10 megas. That is the difference so far.
Oh, lovely shot as well through the floorboards. The quick swap onto the shotty. And that's another man slain. 4 frags up. GaRpY making the best of bad situations time and time again. Another near miss with the railgun as well, showing that his reflexes are still on point at the minute. Now he's finally got an opportunity where he can slow it down a little bit as well. Play off the back of audio, once again engages with the LG, burns a bit of damage off, but Tox, this time he's hungry to try and turn the tables, misses the rail, and lets him close the gap ever so slightly. He falls through the hole, slipping on a banana peel as Tox puts the pressure on. So much that could be done here. Going straight back in as well, pulling out the nails, Dan, and pepper spraying him for more damage.
Perfect bit of luck that Tox needed to get back into this game. A frag follow-up as well. If he can consolidate this now with a couple of items, he's in a perfect position to make this comeback real. Only 2 frags in it, though. A lot still to play for with 3.5 minutes to go. Items not up just yet. Tox in position for the Mega. But makes an aggressive push up the jump pad. Why?
Oh no.
I don't understand.
Yeah, picking up that frag does so much damage to Tox, and again the Dire Orb letting him just go straight back up for another firefight. This one not as successful though. Tox does slay him. We're getting into the late game now. 7 minutes on the board, 2 frags difference between both of these men. The rocket spam coming out, hoping to at least hit and do some damage. The shoe on the other foot this time, Dan.
Very much so. He's so early for this Mega. Look at the damage he's taking. GaRpY could have finished him off if he came out a little bit sooner, but it doesn't matter. He's so incredibly weak. GaRpY can push him with a machine gun. He doesn't need weapons. Oh, Tox living so low right here. It's just a matter of time till GaRpY gets this kill, but if Tox can do anything before he dies, it's going to be a bonus because he needs to get something going. Nice rail coming out. GaRpY is railable for sure.
Tox is so low on ammo though, no rockets, 5 rails left remaining. The click coming out. Oh, he had the angle. That could have been another 90 being chipped away from GaRpY, but he has the read, has the elevated position as well to play with. But Mega's just spawned in and been snatched. And all of this chip damage, all of this grinding that's being done by Sorlag goes away in seconds. And in 3 seconds, they're going to have to fight over control of Heavy as well. He backs out, dipping through the murder hole, giving that to GaRpY. This is just looking so rough for any opportunities for Tox.
Yeah, for sure. Still plenty of time on this map, though. We know how quickly he can rack up frags, so as long as Tox doesn't give away anything needlessly, he's still very much in this game. He just needs to get items. Look at GaRpY, he's running the map. And Tox is on the completely opposite side he needs to be. GaRpY just pricking and probing. He knows he's got the Mega to fall back on if he needs to, which he does now. Takes an extra rail, immediately retreats to get this Mega. He's actually out of position for the Heavy, and Tox will be able to get it, but eats some rails and nullifies that pickup as well. Great play by GaRpY in the end. And Tox's aim as well is not looking as sharp as it normally does, and that's a big pain as he's caught up the jump pad, and that could be all she wrote, giving GaRpY stack.
Yeah, especially with how good he looked when he was in control previously as well. With just a minute of time left to go, it doesn't feel like there should be that many opportunities for Tox to get into the game here on Deep Embrace. And the scary factor is as well, of course, losing this one then means that he's already 2-0 down in the series, Dan. The 2 maps that I would have given him the most stock on as well.
I mean, I said 3-1, but this, yeah, I'd be lucky to see that 1 now. The way this is going so far, it's GaRpY as well. So confident. Look at him, he's just playing, almost toying with Tox, which is not what you want to see as a Tox fan.
As a Maestro fan, though, you'll probably be smiling at this point. GaRpY, he's turned up massively. Doing very well in a lot of the aim fights, just winning out consistently on these 1v1s. Reflex is looking on the ball tonight, and he's certainly on the board. 13-7, this game's done.
Game is very much done, and as close as it was very much a GaRpY controlled map from start to finish. You can see the item pickups almost entirely in GaRpY's favor, and that's the story of this map, I'm afraid, is Brains versus Brawn. Tox went out to brawl, he went out to fight, and that's why you pick a Sorlag. But if you don't have any items, you're making your life incredibly difficult. And as much as he did relatively even damage, there wasn't any strategy behind any of it. It was, I just want to fight. And he didn't even pick his situations to fight particularly well.
And what's pretty rough as well, right, is like a lot of the 1v1s we actually saw there, it seemed like GaRpY was better in terms of the weapon prioritization tonight. His LG was on point. The rockets were really clean for opening damage. Like, he's just looking clean coming into this time. Both of them have been practicing hard, but it feels like at the minute, when it comes to the actual execution, GaRpY's just doing it better.
Yeah, he's doing everything better. I mean, don't underestimate GaRpY's aim, and Tox's aim isn't even looking as clean as we've seen it do. So when that's the case, and you're taking such an aggressive type of playstyle that relies on aim and aim alone, it's once again, it's so hard for you. I would just love to see Tox play a bit simpler, work the items a bit more, trying to, work GaRpY, grind it down, not just take every fight to the death. And that's what it feels like. He just, in every single committal, it's do or die, and it's not working so far in map 1 or map 2.
And we had the game-changing frag as well, obviously, when he was able to knock GaRpY and knock him into the ring out, getting the frag over by Mega. That felt like it was going to be a huge turning point in the overall flow of Deep Embrace. And then that was shut down just off the back of a bit of a messy engagement, really. It's a shame, right? Like, there was chances there. There was chances on Awoken as well, but every time, it just feels like GaRpY's able to quickly just snuff them out and stop him from getting any breathing room. It's
so near and so far, which is a shame, because it just fell within his grasp. But when, and this is what I said, as close as the scoreline was, and it's the same all season, the fact that GaRpY was always in control, it never felt like he was going to lose that map, really. If Tox managed to consolidate one of these fights and get a really big lead and then play the items, that's when he was going to lose. But GaRpY didn't let that happen, so it was controlled even when he was on the back foot, which is definitely confident for GaRpY going into map 3 for sure.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm curious as well. Third map down at this point, right? It all is ringing true. This is where now for Tox, he effectively has to just go off on a spree and reverse sweep the entire series to keep himself in the Quake Pro League, which is so much more pressure being put on you than he even had coming in at the start.
It's insane. It's an insane task right now when GaRpY's looking as good as he is in a confident position. But saying that, we've seen it happen. CNZ did it to GaRpY last time. So it's very much within GaRpY's possibility to lose this as much as it is within Tox's skill set to win it. So I wouldn't count Tox out. If he gets this map, doubts will start creeping into GaRpY's mind. The confidence will start flowing for Tox, and it's a new story. But as you say, if he loses the first frag or two, and I think the opening encounters here are going to be really critical, that's when that pressure might become overbearing.
Because what have we got coming into this, right? It's Galena Visor.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, maybe there is a chance then, actually. Potentially, this could be quite a hell of a comeback. If he's able to pull it up, obviously knowing as well the position he's in, like, you think about how hard of a task it's going to be if Tox has to grind his way back out through challenges. I don't know if it's a possibility. So, if he wants to be in the Quake Pro League, Dan, we need to see it now. It's now or never.
Yeah, could be the fall of a legend right here if it doesn't happen, as you say. Those challenges are not easy.
It's hard.
They're not easy. So it's the reason why we see people like CNZ and Maxty, blitzing up the leaderboard, because they're good players that deserve to be where they are. And so the challenges has a bunch of those people that Tox will have to get through.
Oh man, exactly. So many young guns as well that have got the time to just grind in day in, day out as well, which some of our older pros don't have the time to do. And it's rough. You can see that starting to creep in. But there is still time for Tox right now in the series. The reverse sweep is a potential possibility if he can pop off and start grinding this one back out. Just take it as best of one, Stan. Reset the mental, just grind.
Yeah, man, it's the only way to do it, isn't it? One map at a time, one frag at a time. Just focus on yourself, focus on the strategy. Don't get drawn into the occasion, into what it means. And if he can do that, then absolutely he's in with a shout, because he's Tox and he has the skills to do it, but he needs the mindset. I think that's the key.
It's also, it's one of those where you kind of just want to see him pop off just for old time's sake, just to really get in there, right? A living legend in the game, if we were given just a hell of an exit, if this is where it has to end as well.
Bit of nostalgia for you.
Just get everyone with a couple of tears rolling down their eyes. But I think we are starting to work our way towards getting into this, Dan. GaRpY versus Tox, potentially for the last time tonight, if the Maestro man himself can shut it down.
It's a big if. My money's on GaRpY for a 3-0.
We'll see.
We will see
if it is going to be the 3-0 or the start of Tox getting back into the series tonight. It would go 2-1. We have to grind it back for 3 maps on the spin. Starting off again on GaRpY's POV. This man currently leading. It's been very clean tonight. Let's see if he can keep it up for one more map.
So starting over with GaRpY on the visor, using that piercing sight, nearly hits that rail. Would have been a really, really great shot, but does miss out on it. Tox needs to work his way over to the railgun, which he does nicely. The one thing this champion pick on Galena for Tox does is that it will force him to play slower. It will force him to think about his positioning more, to think about the items more, because he doesn't have the speed to fall back on. So that could be a blessing in disguise. Great damage from GaRpY coming out though, as Tox is called a little bit out of position.
I think the scary bit is that, you know, obviously normally we're sort of sat here talking about Tox's LG, Tox's rail, but GaRpY's the one at the minute just coming out of the gate, looking fresh to death with some of the shots he's been hitting. The weapon prioritization, some of the engagements he's been taking, some of the shots he's hitting, like right now, is just despicable. The fact he's hitting this time and time again, Dan, it just keeps sending shivers down me.
He's doing a good job picking up the vials as well. Tox needs to concentrate on getting that overstack up. Should be manageable on a map like this.
Sneaks up on him. Drive by LG. Only a single tickling of 6 damage. The rail misses as well. So it won't start to strip some of the stack that Tox is building, but it will allow GaRpY to create some space, grab himself the heavy, and then move up to get the rail.
What is worrying is how easily GaRpY's already got full control though. Tox content just to play a distance rail game, but allowing that rather awkward drive-by, as you say, not punishing GaRpY for picking up these major items is definitely going to come back to haunt Tox right now as he's on the run and trying to get to his little health totem. Not able to.
Oh, no pocket heals, but even more damage coming out from GaRpY, and he's looking so confident into this one as well. Straight back up on the bridge, beats him down, and gets the second kill in seconds. Good transition there.
Absolutely. As you say, he looks so confident. He knows he's got Tox a little bit rattled, and if I'm honest, looking a little bit out of ideas as well.
I think that is the rough part about it. Is normally, you know, you get so much pressure put on you. It's one of those, like, do you take that pressure and turn yourself into a diamond, or do you just buckle under it? And with the weight that GaRpY's putting on him, it feels like some bones are going to be breaking soon for Tox if he doesn't come back in. Rocket spam, just carpet bombing towards the heavy to try and stop him from picking it up. It's doing a good job of wasting time, but he's still hitting tags. The rail will miss on the close engagement, switches straight back to the LG and dips out, giving him a little bit of breathing room.
That was a really nice double back there, stopping GaRpY in his tracks. It's huge amounts of damage. He has to make that count though, as he's the one now with a little bit of a stack advantage, but he hasn't got a rail.
GaRpY, he had his wits about him. With the LG, burns off basically all the stack he has to work with, straight back up as well. Starts to just locate those totems. Take down every advantage that Tox could possibly have here. We're 4 minutes in. There's 2 kills for GaRpY. He's got mass control. He's like a boa constrictor. He's like an English boa constrictor, Dan.
But look how easily he's got back in control and, like, without a fight even, just snuck up behind Tox, completely unaware. And now, yeah, he's in position again to get both major items. Great rail coming out. Big split between the 2 items. And at the minute, Tox isn't putting up enough of a fight. I feel he needs to have more of a presence on these major items, but one of the big problems is that GaRpY is consistently catching him out guard and doing some early damage, which forces Tox into a more reserved position. So GaRpY then gets a free item, as he does here, and can push for a follow-up, and Tox is just running for his life. It's only 2-0 though, so plenty of time to change the course of this matchup. But once again, it's GaRpY in full control.
5-minute warning.
Finally, a bit of a mistake with the rail as he came around the corner. Can't quite hit that one, but he is hot on him, chasing him down like a vulture, just swooping in, death from above, shot after shot. Tox looking panicked. He's got to backtrack and get out of there. And this is quite terrifying. At least knocks him off of the high ground. Gets him back down to his level with the rockets, forcing him to panic ever so slightly. Doesn't catch him as he comes around on the corner as well. And Heavy's up, so Tox can rebuild a lot of the damage that was just taken out from underneath him. We've got 10 seconds till Mega's up, but GaRpY, he goes a bit forward thinking here, Daniel. Oh, the rail as well. Actually making this look quite sublime. If he can hit him here on the close encounter, it could have been a third frag. But but it's not gonna be. Instead, it just sends him back over by Mega. A lot of damage onto Tox. Also, spots out the totem and finally gets rid of that.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive from Tox, but he does manage to pick himself that Mega. GaRpY, though, you can see he's already in position to save himself this heavy. Actually doesn't go for it, which was very unusual. Tox doesn't realise it hasn't been taken either. It's pretty awkward, but heavy's still up. And we can see this is what GaRpY did on Awoken, and it might come back to bite him this time. It didn't on Awoken, but he went too defensive. He does now double back and realizes the heavy is still up. Difference though, he does have the piercing sight as well, which enables that defensive game. If you ever lose track of your opponent, a free wall hack, Jackie.
That's what it's all about. Use that piercing sight, clock where your opposition is, and then gun them down. Ooh, around the corner as well, swinging with a rail.
Nice.
But Tox, he's the one that lands the uppercut this time in the close engagement. Shuts him down, gets his first frag on the board. Here we go, 2-1. One kill is easily achieved, especially if the confidence is starting to seep back into his bones. Comes around the corner but won't hit the rockets. Drops down to the lower levels. The LG is primed and ready. Good tags. He's hitting all of his shots. He's dodging the rockets as well and making this so much harder for GaRpY. The direct hit lands straight under the chin. 2-2. He's back in business.
He's so low, this is the problem now. GaRpY knows he's done how much damage, so he has to forfeit control. GaRpY's got the totems in his reserve to stack back up relatively quickly, but he will miss out on this Mega.
Nail spam. Just a quick rail adjustment. The rail's not going to hit GaRpY as well. Opting to just stop, stay stationary, not give away any audio cues, and drop himself straight onto the heavy. The heavy that's been buckled under the sheer fire that is being rained down upon him from Tox. Backs off for the pocket heal and gets himself over by Mega for the quick spawn.
Yeah, big toads of stopping GaRpY, putting any pressure on the Mega, which could be a huge lifeline for Tox. Just misses that rail drop. Oh, this is so tense, Jackie.
Oh, mate, this is what we wanted to see. This is what we were hoping for. Potentially more of a series here, not a quick 3-0. The third frag still needs to be grabbed in this game. That's going to be the decisive play. Nice 90 from Tox. Able to keep himself alive, stay scoped in as he'll backpedal up, get himself the heavy. And if he's quick about this, there's a timeline down. He gets both of these major items here.
Yeah, GaRpY's pretty low on ammo. He's just got a box of the rocket. Ooh.
No. That's the read he wanted. That's the audio cue given up. Ooh, placement, nearly everything there as well, actually, from Tox.
GaRpY's just running the clock. He doesn't want to fight. He wants to evade. He needs to do damage to stall any hyper aggression from Tox, but that's the game plan now. Take up very defensive positions that have multiple exit routes. Try and keep track of your opponent's movements and just outmaneuver him now. 1 minute to go.
Dawn of the final 60. Tox's storyline in the Quake Pro League could end here. We might not see this man again. He would have to grind his way back out through the challengers, and right now the challenger of GaRpY is making this look like a very tall order, but the drop down from Tox is at least nice with a slight amount of damage being done. He'll also win the item, the tri-box spam, detonating all around him. The follow-up slightly better though, Dan, and this actually looks like it's getting scary for GaRpY. He's got to fall back.
Yeah, the rocket jumps, he will drop, try and get out there as quick as he can. He knows Tox is around. He does go up though, Tox is out of position. Oh, he's just lost out on a Mega with 20 seconds to go. That is huge.
After that rail, that's it. You got to concede. You got to try and take this into an overtime, and that's not what GaRpY's going to want. GaRpY wants to get it done right here, right now. Pushes up with the shotgun, hits him with a signature move, and that's it. The third frag picked up. It's a 3-0 against Toxic. The Terminator's been bested as the Bulldog himself snatches away the series, Dan.
He's done it. Third, fourth, who knows how many times they're trying, but he's back. He's done it. Congratulations. He's knocked out a true legend, but he's fully deserved every single step of the way. Tox, unfortunately, just has been left behind the curve of progression in QPL. A lot of players have taken a step up, and he hasn't. And it does show. It's definitely a game that lacks on many areas, and those areas have been exposed.
A shame, both of them putting so much practice in, though. You can't fault GaRpY. He absolutely rocked it tonight. He was looking on point when it comes to aim. But someone who always looks on point when it comes to fashion, of course, is DJ Wheat.
Wow, thank you. Appreciate it. Dan, you said something early on with kind of the 10 minutes of that first game representing a lot of what, the season was or this stage was like for Toxic. And I think you called it really well. Close games, definitely GaRpY deserves a lot of credit. Looking awesome, a proof that you can fight your way through the challengers and best some of the best in the world. But it is really unfortunate to see Toxic go down in this way. Had those glimmering moments of brilliance and aim that we see, but I definitely feel like there was a few just mistakes that came out that ultimately cost the series. And GaRpY, like, I give him some great props for playing smart. His aim was on point and made some just phenomenal decisions throughout the matchup. I mean, the last 30 seconds of that game was a great example. Hit the shots when it counted, and ultimately, congratulations to GaRpY. Is really quite amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing, and as you said, he fully deserves it. I mean, what the QPL's done and what Quake Champions has done is that it's forced everyone to develop their game to such a level now where the smallest mistakes is what costs you. It's all about the strategy. It's all about the mind games. Everybody hits like a truck. Just having good aim isn't enough anymore. There's so many other factors that go into winning a game, and unfortunately for Tox, it's those other factors that haven't matched up against other players just yet. And GaRpY, you can see, he's been putting in the time. So to overcome all that, to overcome the mental challenges of not getting into the QPL for a few times in a row, he's come back time and time again, and he's done it. He's made it 3 Maestro now in the QPL.
Yeah. Jackie, what do you think? I mean, obviously, watching a Legends fall, Toxic officially kind of out of the QPL unless he decides to fight back through. But on the same side, seeing GaRpY fight his way back in, and now having a chance to battle it out here amongst the bracket. What do you think overall? Like, it definitely, as many are saying in chat, bittersweet.
Yeah, I think it's a fitting storyline though, right? Like, as you say, GaRpY, he has been grinding hard every single Challenger season since we see him drop out way back, just, so long ago now. It's crazy that finally he's been able to do it. But you're right, it is bittersweet because it's rough. It's up against one of the living legends, a man that, made Quake so explosive to watch. He's had some very historic plays even throughout the QPL. But we don't have a chance of seeing that anymore. What we do have a chance, though, is seeing a great Brit that's going to be popping off potentially week after week. So it'll be sick to see what GaRpY can do when the regular season kicks off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, congratulations again to GaRpY. Our first Challengers match is down, and Challengers is pretty exciting, right? To fight your way through, get the chance to solidify your spot in the QPL. Shown right there. I was a little surprised that it did go 3-0 in GaRpY's favor. I was kind of with you, Dan. I thought at least we'd see Toxic pull one out there, maybe even the win. But congratulations to GaRpY. He's officially in, and now I hope he did not make plans all weekend long because he's got some, fierce matches ahead of him as well. Let's take I guess let's take a break. We're going to take a break. Gentlemen, Jackie, ZXX, thank you so much. We'll be back with you more. When we come back, we've got more Quake action coming at you, our second Challenger series of the day, as well as some fresh faces bringing us the action straight from the Quake Champions Arena. I'm DJ Wheat. This is the QPL Stage 1 Finals. Don't go away. We'll be right back.